I want to continue showing people that they can chase their dreams and this is achievable. So if I'm still doing that in 5 years' time, like I'll be happy. You look at it like it's just like, why do I want to support them? I want people to come to my own profile, but realistically, you're
Yeah.
helping people see your name. They were all creating intros and motion graphics for different gamers and stuff, and I looked at that online. I'm like, I want to do that.
Dude, thanks so much for giving me your time and
No worries, man.
having a chat with us. Bit of an interesting one because it's a little bit different than what I'm used to chatting with people, online about character stuff, game stuff. I really like the transition, like of what you found this cool niche in, which seems to be like, I don't know, how would you describe it?
Man, I guess the word that I kind of hate for it is influencer. I feel like that puts me in a category that's just not what you would imagine when you picture what it is that I do. But yeah, look, I guess you would say that I'm both a digital artist and a content creator. And the content that I'm usually creating videos for is mostly around educating 3D artists on, jumping into learning Blender, for example, or pretty much any 3D software. It doesn't really discriminate the content, but like I really enjoy being the type of person who's kind of like a beacon of inspiration for people who want to jump in and do the exact same thing that I do, and putting myself out there and showing just how easy it is and how fun it is as well. It's one of the best things.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's you hit the nail on the head as far as the like not being attached to programs and software in general, like, and it's more just about like how you would achieve a certain thing. Like, it's such a huge part of it, man. Like, and I think that there can be a little bit of that in our industry as well. Like, people get attached to certain areas. Like, I'm old school as well. Like, I'm a Mair guy, and even now I'm like, I have to learn Blender because I don't want to miss out. Like, I just want to see like what everything else is out there and stuff. It's so cool. Like, your creativity and design, and like biggest thing for me, what stood out for me with you is your entrepreneurship when it comes to the way that you market yourself as like a business. And it's something that I think that a lot of artists should take note of. When did you really like tap into that as this is going to be, my career and my business?
Yeah, so I started my freelance business in 2020. And that would have been the perfect time to jump on the TikTok craze, and this was all thanks to like the Call of Duty gaming community. There was like a separate sub niche of like a motion designers community where they were all creating intros and motion graphics for different gamers and stuff, and I looked at that online. I'm like, I want to do that. And I kind of looked at it. I'm like, this is going to be a huge thing. I'm seeing people pop off for dancing, for example. Like, if I can actually show off my talent in some way, surely that would get some views, and it did. So I kind of just went for it and kept going with it. I was posting daily for pretty much at least the first year and a half. Every day or every second day I was posting a video, just really pushing content out there. And eventually I started posting Blender tutorials. I started up a series called Things I Wish I Knew Before Starting Blender 3D. And eventually that tutorial series just blew up and just became, I'm like the Blender guy almost.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it's a business in itself, right? Like, I'm sort of learning it now. It's like there's this. This is an interesting one, right? Where it's when you're starting off, you sort of need to play the game a little bit. When you're tapping into it, which is what the line I think that you cross really well, which is playing the game to a sense, but also being able to be genuine to who you are and what you want to be doing. And I think that that's a really fine line that a lot of people, like, you would see a lot of content creators, be the guy that's playing into the algorithm and doing the right thing. And then there's also the other side of it as well, where you want to be genuine and being creative in yourself. And I think that you toe that line really well.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, look, of course, I originally started up because I wanted to go viral. And I think that's kind of the trap that people will fall into straight away when they start up. Because you're not going to have a viral video every single video. And once you position yourself in the mindset of you're either posting content because you want people to see your skills and what you enjoy doing, or you want to educate someone, like they need to find value in your content. It's not just, I want you to give me views, I want to go viral, I want the fame, that kind of thing. So, I mean, look, I definitely did start that, and it can be pretty easy to fall into a niche that you're not happy in, and that's all people want to see. So I was doing different graphic design content and 3D content, and then I found that people only really wanted to view my 3D content, so I started pushing that more. And yeah,
when I was going back through your Instagram, I was looking at what got you into this, what got you into 3D, because I feel like everyone in the 3D space has their own sort of weird story about how they got into it, because it's not like something you learn, it's not like a subject at school. It's definitely not in Australia.
No, definitely not.
Only until 5 or 6 years ago, I think TAFE even started doing it, which is our like community college type thing, right?
Yeah.
So you started as a graphic designer before working in 3D?
Yeah, so I didn't start my freelance business up until 2020. At that point, I was working in, previously to COVID, when I actually started it up, I was working for a nightclub down near my area. I was doing their like flyer designs and, stuff for their social media. And it wasn't until COVID hit that I'm like, damn, like there's just so much time ahead of me. What do I want to do? So I actually started learning 3D in like 2011, 2012. And this was all thanks to like the Call of Duty gaming community. There was like a separate sub niche of like a motion designers community where they were all creating intros and motion graphics for different gamers and stuff. And I looked at that online. I'm like, I want to do that. And it was kind of easy to transition to after graphic design, because you do a YouTuber's banner or profile picture or something, and then they're like, what about an intro? And I was like, I can do it all. So I was doing that up until like maybe 2014, 2015, and then high school took over, and I guess I got busy with life and growing up, and it wasn't until 2020 that I had so much time on my hands. I'm like, I really want to get back into this, and the rest is history pretty much.
Yeah, it's wild, man. COVID has been, so many of the people that I've spoken to, COVID has been that turning point for so many people, where it was either an insanely positive thing where it was like, I need to reevaluate what I want to be doing with my life, me included. Like I did exactly the same thing. Yeah, man, it's really awesome to hear that, you took the high road with COVID, because there's so many people that could have gone the other way.
Yeah, I mean, like you're completely out of control in that kind of situation as well. So you either make the most of it or you don't. And I knew that working with that nightclub, I knew that doing graphic design was something that I could do full time if I really wanted to. Like I'd had conversations with people about, traveling overseas, and all you need is a laptop with you and that kind of thing. So I really went for it, and then kind of added 3D into that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was, I could tell from your original, like there had to be something there, because skills that you learn, even if it's like being Photoshop work or poster work or any of this kind of stuff, the skill sets that come with that, composition, the way, color theory, the way things work and don't work, like you obviously had a skill set in that. So, and I think that's translated over to your socials as well. Like, do you find that tapping into that stuff is equally as important with socials? Because I've seen some people that have social media accounts that are like, they just throw anything at the wall, what sticks, it's all about consistency. But your stuff seems super polished, and I feel like that kind of comes from your design background.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, it definitely helped me. And the way that you market yourself as an artist or, business brand is so important. And I think people, like I said before, just get caught up in the idea of going viral or getting the attention before, they actually take the steps to go, what do I want to be known for? Do I want to be known for the person who just chucks up a video within the first 10 minutes of making it, no real effort put into it? Or do I want people to come across my content and go, wow, let's watch another one? The amount of time and effort that you put in, it makes a huge difference, and it certainly helped me.
Yeah, no, it shows, dude. It really does show. So like moving from, design work into more of the 3D space, it's so cool, man. You're doing a lot of work with like EDM artists and stuff, like doing their video clips and stuff for them now. How'd you get into that?
Yeah, so during COVID, the first thing I did when I started my business is go, how am I going to get some work? And like everyone else, people are stuck inside, and I would see DJs posting on Facebook going, just made this new track, just made this new release, whatever. I'm like, what if I message them and go, can I create your cover art? And that's how I first started getting my first clients. I just sent out messages being like, look, I'll do this dirt cheap. Just let me work with you. Whatever, I get $20 for a cover art, but my name is getting out there because they're tagging me in their posts, other DJs, and seeing it as like a word of mouth referral. So eventually I just became so involved in the DJ scene, especially in Melbourne. When I started posting 3D work, or even just concept arts and stuff, people were like, what's this? Because they hadn't seen it before. They'd never heard about it before. They might have seen it on screens behind the big DJs, but they didn't know that it was accessible within their own hometown. So
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of just weaseled my way in and made it work.
Dude, that's incredible. I know we keep focusing on it, but I just think that it's a really good point of this whole conversation is the power of social media and how artists tapping into it. It could be the make or break of your livelihood of a business. Like you could build a whole thing of the foundation of literally just reaching out to someone. I am a product of it myself, man. The reaching out, hitting up people. Our industry is so helpful with that stuff. I feel like everyone wants to help each other. Everyone wants to be, if you've got a cool idea and it's not going to cost you anything other than maybe a bit of your time and replying to a message, it's like people want to be a part of cool creative stuff, especially other creators. So it was pretty smart of you to reach out to them.
Yeah, for sure. I saw my opportunity and I took it. And, as much as it might be annoying to continue to speak over, social media is the future. And it's not to say that I wouldn't be anywhere without social media, because I'd still be grinding, still be trying to achieve my goals, but it helps. I mean, with all that spare time, I was spending at least 30 to 40 minutes commenting on other people's posts just to push my name out there. It's not just about supporting them, because that's a great thing to do as well. But when you're looking through the comment section of someone's post and you see their profile, you're like, what's this person do? And, just getting that engagement and that interest through even just commenting and sharing people's stuff is huge.
I never knew that. Because my girl's in marketing, and she's just like, you should start resharing and commenting on, liking on everyone's stuff. And I was like, why? And she's like, because it's good, because it's,
yeah, because you kind of look past it. You look at it like, it's just like, why do I want to support them? I want people to come to my profile, but realistically, you're helping people see your name. So it is
true.
It's
it's the little tricks, right, that you don't really think of. So you go to the design work, you're happy in what you're doing now. I find being a 3D artist, I'm a scatterbrain. I never stop. I'm always looking at different things, what I can be getting into. I've worked in game stuff, film stuff, broadcast. Is there any industry that you are like, I'm really keen to maybe tap into that one day? Something that you haven't done yet?
Man, it's tough, because like I have sort of situated myself as just a person who works doing live visuals, but as time's gone on, I kind of want to step away from graphic design and focus more on 3D work now. So I've definitely been considering going into doing stuff like product animations and doing more commercial based work outside of just hoping to work with DJs and stuff like that, because although I find a lot of fun in it, I don't feel like I'm being challenged creatively much anymore. So yeah, I definitely think that now I'm starting to think about what I want to do next. Like I just started learning Houdini after several years of saying I was going to do it. And there's no certain goals or things that I want to do. I don't want to go work on movies or anything. I just want to be able to continue to expand and grow and have more tools to work with. So I'm definitely starting to think about my goals and where I want to work, but I don't have the answers just yet.
That's awesome, man. At least you've got that sort of foundation as far as the flexibility to be able to make that decision, because usually, like, if you're in a studio or if you're in one of these places, you need to make a YouTube channel or you need to do something outside of work to find that creative freedom, right? And I just feel like you're in this really nice sweet spot of like a business where I'm guessing you control a lot of the creativity yourself.
I don't take on projects without creative freedom, and I know that sounds insane, but I just know that if I'm not taking on a project where I'm following a brief to a T, I find that they're the harder projects to work on, because not only are you not really having input into that project, and I like being trusted with my creative expertise, so it's not to say that I don't take on projects where I'm just following a brief, but if I have a preference, it's definitely the ones where people just come to me and go, hey, I want something really cool created, what's your ideas?
Well, I think that comes from, you sort of said it before, which is like, you are this guy who does this thing and you do this really well. So when people come to you, it's not like, hey, I want to come to you because you know how to use 3D tools and we want you to facilitate our dream. We're coming to you because we want Brock's designs. We want what Brock delivers. Like, obviously you have a brand and an image and a thing that is so polished already. People, when they come to you, they're like, we don't even need to, he knows what he's doing. That's why we're coming to him, sort of thing, which takes so long to get that to a point. So, even after a few years, it's crazy that you've got that to a point where it's like, you're so niche into this spot, like where it's, exactly what you're doing and you're trusted by your clients. It's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Like I worked on a project in Australia with Are You OK Day very recently.
Oh yeah.
And that came about just because I decided to, on the day last year, just within the last couple of hours left before they were posting their stuff, I decided to create a 3D animation for them. I, quickly made it, uploaded it, tagged them, and that was it. And then I didn't hear from them until about a year later, and they came to me saying, "We absolutely love this. Could you
Yeah.
create something for this year?" And it was the same sort of deal. Like, we don't really know what we want. We loved what you did last year. Here's the messages we're trying to get across. Do your thing. Get it done by the deadline, and that was it. And that was such a fun project for me, and it really tapped into knowing that I'm trusted for what I create. And yeah, that's one of my favorite things about what I do.
No, that's awesome, man. Really, really cool. Well, you've just listed another one that I never would have even thought you'd worked with. So this could be a tough question, but who's the favorite client or project that you can remember working on?
Ooh, I think it's actually super easy to answer that one. Earlier this year, I worked on a 3D music video for Will Sparks, who's an EDM DJ. He's a huge one out of Australia, and he was actually the artist that I created my first ever 3D concept art for, way back in 2020. So it was always a goal to work with him. And around Christmas time of last year, they said, "Hey, we've got this track that's being released in a month's time. We'd love you to create a 3D music video for it." And
wow,
I'd never created a 3D music video before, and I'd never really used Unreal Engine 5 before. So I said, you know what, I'm going to skip my Christmas break. I'm going to give myself no time off. I'm going to work every day. And yeah, I picked up Unreal Engine 5 for the first time. I created my favorite project of all time just because I threw myself into the deep end and made it happen. So yeah, awesome, I'm absolutely proud of that one.
No, that's sick. I didn't know that you used Unreal for that, and that you didn't know how to use Unreal before you started it. That's incredible. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't even know if this is really relevant to you then, because I feel like in film and games and 3D art in general, like, I'm sure you've been aware that the industry is in a state of somewhat volatility, like in jobs, people getting laid off in studio jobs, there's strikes in VFX and stuff like that.
Yep.
What have you done in the past, if you've ever hit sort of a roadblock where you think, okay, I'm going to pivot here, I'm going to start doing this because I feel like this is the pathway, even if it's not because of resistance, but maybe I feel like this is going to be an avenue that's going to be really beneficial for my career?
At the moment, I'd say it's probably pushing towards doing 3D more. Like, when I started on my business, I definitely wanted to be able to do 3D, but I was more focused on working with nightclubs and doing graphic design and, designing people's logos and stuff. But now that I've got myself in that industry, and I've worked with many different clubs across Australia and, internationally as well. I've noticed that because of COVID, that started to have the effects on how many people are coming to the nightclub venues. That essentially means that my job within that industry is starting to really be a little bit rocky, if anything. So in the last couple of months, I've gone, I've got this social media following. I absolutely love doing 3D. Like, if anything, that's my biggest passion now. So it was only a very recent decision. I said, look, I'm going to have to start stepping away from graphic design. I'm going to focus on doing my social media collaborations and teaching 3D artists. I created a Discord maybe 2 months ago to have different 3D artists in there who want to ask their questions and get support in their projects and join in on monthly challenges and that kind of thing. And within those 2 months, we just hit over 2,000 members. So I think positioning myself towards doing 3D more and continuing to help people more is definitely what I want to do. And yeah, I guess that was kind of a roadblock for me recently, is just going, look, things are changing across the world, and I really want to make sure that I'm both stable and still having fun in what I'm creating. So
usually there's a trade-off when you have to pivot, where it's like, okay, I might not be able to be doing this. I just feel like you're like, I like doing this stuff more, so I'm just going to keep going into this avenue. So to be able to find a way that's viable, that can keep you rolling, is it's awesome, man. Okay, a couple of this is a question that I love asking other people, the crystal ball question. Brock Studios in 5 years time, what does the dream look like for you?
Man, that's a really tough one to answer, eh? I don't think I necessarily want anything to be different, to be honest. Like, I'm loving what I'm doing at the moment, and if I could just continue doing this, maybe if it was like I'm mostly doing 3D in 5 years time, like, I guess that's the goal for now. But for the most part, like, I love waking up doing what I do every single day. Like, I'll work 8 till 5 and time just goes like that.
Yeah.
Like being able to do this as a job is just it's the absolute dream that I've had since I was, probably when I first started, so
Yeah.
I just want to continue helping people. I want to continue showing people that they can chase their dreams and this is achievable. So if I'm still doing that in 5 years time, like I'll be happy.
You're pumping me up, dude. Nah, because I'm the same, man. Like for so many years, I tried to chase what I thought. I mean, it's so refreshing to hear like the complete opposite of it, because I didn't chase the money, but I did what I thought was safe for so long. Like I would stay in a job that I might not have exactly liked, or I might have followed money instead of what I was passionate about. And then only until COVID was a similar thing, where it was just this, I need to start following what I want to be doing instead. And it's crazy it doesn't really seem to be an issue. It's like, I like what I have and I just want to keep doing more of what I have. It's
awesome. I mean, look, it's been rough at the same time, because for the last couple of years, like I haven't really been completing any passion projects or any personal projects for me. And that's something I want to be able to do in future as well. But it has just been wake up, work, grind, any spare time is creating content and further marketing yourself. And, it's pretty rough, but at the end of the day, like the position that I'm in, I've worked hard for it and a lot of other people want it. So you got to appreciate what you have. And especially during COVID, it wasn't necessarily about money. It was more just about pushing my artwork out there. And, although I do this for a full time, it is really just about expressing myself creatively and helping other people to do that as well, because it's a fun life to live.
No, it is, man. It is. You hit the nail on the head there. I usually go back in my head about what I would have done differently, after you said you started 2011, 2012. That's we're going over a decade generally being in this industry. If anything, what would you tell someone who was starting? I mean, you started your video series you were talking about on Instagram before, about like what you would do, how you would do it differently, how you would start, what you would be doing if you were to be picking up today. What would you change if you were to be telling someone that was starting 3D today?
Spend every spare moment you have learning. Even when this podcast ends, I'm probably going to jump off and then spend the rest of my night watching videos on YouTube about Houdini, because that's what I'm currently trying to learn, and man, like everything is just so accessible these days, and I feel like people don't take advantage of it enough. There's people who are throwing out free tutorials out there. There are websites that are doing full length courses at like $10-15. Sometimes they're running deals and stuff. Like there's just so much information out there and so many different ways for you to learn, and it wasn't like that when I started. Like I started off in Cinema 4D, and that would have been maybe R13 or R14 back in 2012 2013, that kind of thing. There wasn't many tutorials. Like I could make some text spin and I could add some lights, and that was it. That was as far as the knowledge went. And these days you just type up what you want to learn and there's something for it. And if there's not a video, things like ChatGPT will literally break it down for you now. So if you're really serious about this, spend every moment you have on it and don't stop until you make it.
The amount of times people hit me up about a question, how do I do this thing? How do I do this thing? And I'm like, we're living in the best time ever of being able to do that. You just type exactly what you just typed to me, type it into YouTube, man. And you're going to have someone that's probably smarter than me being able to explain it to you. It's hard in foresight, because we've seen the other side of it and then seeing it now. I remember texture painting. I remember painting textures in Photoshop, and now Substance Painter exists. Like we used to export UVs to Photoshop and then paint them in Photoshop and then bring it back in.
I've been known to do that as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's never been, a better time to be part of the 3D industry, in my opinion. You can focus on all the other stuff, like studios being laid off and budgets going and people, closing down and stuff like that. But I think I keep feeling like I'm harping on it, but it's something that you could probably tell I've recently just started to tap into it. But backing yourself, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Yeah, but I mean, artists in general, everyone that I know is pretty humble and pretty introverted, and I am as well. I have been for so long. So I think it's kind of against our nature to go, I'm going to back myself and do this, and I'm going to build my own brand and do all this, it's a skill set in itself, I think. To back yourself. I like to think of the Australian dudes that when it comes to 3D and Blender and stuff, and you have to be right behind Andrew Price right now for the guy that, you know, when you type in those buzzwords, it's like there's donut tutorial, then Brock. So I mean, we're in pretty different industries that are crossing over, and you popped up in my thing, man. So you're doing something right. You're absolutely killing it. So
yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, if you wanted to plug anything, and let people know where they can find you, and
yeah, for sure.
Know.
I know my Instagram and TikTok handle is a little bit different. Instagram is Brock Creative Official, and TikTok is just Brock Creative. And shout out to my Discord as well. If you guys want to jump in and, you know, get in touch with other 3D artists and, you know, just continue to be inspired by everything that everyone else is doing, and, you know, get in touch with me and get feedback and advice from me. That's discord.gg/Brock Creative as well. So there's definitely, it's an easy way to find me and get in touch with me. And I'm always looking to connect with other 3D artists. You know, as I said, I absolutely love what I do, and being able to inspire you guys is literally my only goal at the moment. So
awesome, dude. I'll grab all your links and put them down as well. But it's so good that you know, even saying it like that, because people looking at what you do and seeing that as, oh, I could be doing this, and this is something that I love 3D, but I didn't know that this was the niche that I wanted to tap into. Even having this as a platform to be able to expand people in the 3D industry, being like, this is another avenue of where you can take your 3D career, you know, doing it yourself, backing yourself, doing something that you might not have even known was a career is half the fun of it. So
yeah, I mean, like, some people just don't even know that it's like a possible thing. You know, people come across and go like, man, that's so cool. I literally didn't even know this existed. And you can do it in a free software, or, you know, being able to push this content out there and inspire people it's something that I never thought I was going to take on when I first started pushing content. I think for me, it was more just about pushing my work out there, and then it gradually, you know, shifted towards being more educating as well. But, you know, when I receive a message saying that I've inspired someone to download Blender or start up, or, you know, that kind of thing, it's really nice for me to see. And if I hadn't got the support that I have so far, I don't know if I'd be pushing content as much as I have, but it's what keeps me going.
Yeah, awesome. So everyone, you hear that? Get in there and support.
Yeah,
all right,
sure.
Thanks again for your time, brother.
No worries, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Catch up.
Cheers, bro.